Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I want to give you guys an update on my solo self-found Ruthless experience. I got the alpha access, so thanks to Bex and GGG for giving me a spot to test this thing because I was really interested in it. And today I decided to stop it because tomorrow I'm going to stream something else, and on Tuesday I'm going to be playing Dragonflight World of Warcraft until League Start for 320. But I still want to give you guys my opinion now after playing this mode for I think 10 hours or so, going through the first acts, my experience, what did I get from the good items, what about the support gems, and all these kind of things. And I gotta say, this is a complete personal perspective, okay? So this is just my opinion. If you say, yo, Ruthless sounds insane, the clips that I saw, I'm looking forward to it, then please do not get influenced by my take on Ruthless, how I think it would be better or more interesting. But this is basically for me, what would make Ruthless more interesting for myself, right? So, as many of you know, you have very big limitations when it comes to your Ruthless characters, right? There are all modes. There is softcore, there is hardcore, trade league, solo self-found. All the modes exist in Ruthless, and they are separate leagues. So I decided to go for solo self-found because I just don't want to get pressured by the market, by currency, by whatever. I just want to have a pure solo experience. How does it feel like? And as you remember, I was really struggling for support gems because, just as a small explanation, you do not get any support gems, okay? No vendor will sell you support gems, because here, for example, Lily would sell you those, right? She doesn't even have like a purchase button here, or Lily basically. Wait, she's twice here. I think that's just a map bug. But it doesn't matter, you don't get access to any support gems, you need to find them yourself. Not even the quests that in the campaign that would give you a support gem as reward, they just don't give you anything. Instead, you get these little tokens over here, which are called the uncarved gemstone, which says trade this in to the Siosa inside the library for a skill gem. And this is important, for a skill gem. So a skill gem is Cold Snap, a skill gem is Purifying Flame, a Wave of Conviction. A skill gem is not an aura, is not a support gem. Okay, so Siosa, which actually sells you I think almost every single gem besides like cast damage taken stuff that you get afterwards. She would sell you everything, but in this mode she doesn't, just active skill gem. So I could go buy a Hex Blast if I want to, but I cannot buy Malevolence, I cannot buy any auras, I cannot buy a Herald, I cannot buy anything, just skill gems. So even there you have limitations. Besides having an insanely low drop pool, so this is basically all the currency that I made in this 50 levels. I found 2 Chaos Orb, 1 Orb of Alchemy that I tried to, that I throw on these Silk Gloves, which turned out absolutely bad. But it was a 4-link with blue sockets, so I said since I found the Control Destruction support, that I said, you know what, I'm gonna play Flame Wall plus Wave of Conviction plus Cold Snap linked together with Control Destruction. So instead of a 4-link, I'm running a triple 2-link to increase my damage basically, right? But these turned out so bad. I mean, I could now throw on my 2 Chaos Orbs and hope for the best, but I found some pretty nice other gloves, but I don't have the funds to either socket them. I have 1 Jeweler Orb, I have 1 Orb of Fusing. I can maybe recolor it a little bit, but as you see, you are starved for everything. Obviously, later on with mapping, later on with increased map modifiers, you are dropping more, obviously. But as of right now, this is it. Not more, not less. When it comes to the overall itemization or more downsides, you do not have Uberlap, okay? I think there is Uberlap, but it doesn't do anything. You are only getting 6 Ascendancy points instead of 8, which is also a drawback. The next thing that I think is pretty questionable is you do not have a crafting bench. So if I go to my hideout, there is no crafting bench. I could technically just put it down from my decorations, right? But this doesn't work. I cannot place a crafting bench. It just doesn't exist. So not only do you have the lower drop chances, you also cannot really modify any of your gear unless you find an Exalted Orb and slam it on it. So no crafts, no nothing. But I still think all of these things are what I would consider okay. This game mode is not for everybody. It's probably only for like less than 1% of the player base, which is totally fine, right? This is not going to be anything that is going to replace the softcore trade experience by any means, right? But what I think would be better, besides changing trees and stones in the hideout, is like changing the way monsters act instead of drastically removing player power, right? So as I said, I found a total of 3 support gems, and the last one, the third one, I found like literally 5 minutes ago, which was the, additional accuracy. So my first one was Shockwave, then I found the Control Destruction, which I can use for my build, and now I found additional accuracy. Do I think this is a problem? I mean, it is annoying because I definitely would see myself killing Act 10 Kitava on my 4-1 links, basically, right? Just because I don't have the support gems. I mean, Control Destruction is currently linked to Flame Wall just because I play Wave of Conviction Ignite, and Wave of Conviction does not have a built-in Ignite modifier that scales with spell damage, but Flame Wall does. So overall, is this bad? No, I don't think so, just because once you're starting to map, once you have a character that works for mapping, you will find all the support gems that you would potentially need, right? And obviously you would most likely play multiple builds based on the items that you find. Maybe you find a certain core unique item that you say like, okay, you know what, my next character, I wanted to play Cyclone, I don't know, but I just found this and this item, and this together would make a good summoner build. So in order to progress my Atlas even further, I will play a summoner next, right? And then you just keep on going, and at some point you will have every support gem because you will find them. It just the question is, when do you find it? Other than the next point that I want to talk about, which I think is not really good, is the drop restrictions overall. So there are no divination cards, for example. So I cannot farm easy things like Headhunter or Mageblood, right? Or any other 6-link divination card from any map or something. Why do I think this is bad? With the lower drop restrictions, you could technically run, like, let's say 30,000 default cathedrals in order to get 5 Mageblood cards to get the belt. But the difference is, you technically could farm it. Even though if it's ridiculous, if you say, yo, I'm playing Ruthless and I got a Mageblood, for example. These items don't exist. There is no Headhunter, there is no Mageblood, so I think there is a major difference in, like, having something that is so ridiculously rare that you're never gonna get it, or you cannot even get it. You know, I think this is a very big major difference, and with all the drop restrictions, it's very unlikely that you get something of that. But it's still, you could technically, you know, in a certain universe, you would have one, okay? So the next point that I want to talk about is what I just said, with the character power versus the monster power. I will compare this now to the Ruthless mode, like it is right now, to the Gauntlet, which Scissoran hosts every now and then, right? The Gauntlet means that all the monsters, all the areas have more modifiers. You know, even in Act 1, you know, monsters have 40% more life. They have like, turbo with like increased movement speed, attack speed, cast speed, whatever. They maybe get Fizz's extra cold. They maybe inflict fire exposure. But it makes the monsters stronger. But me as a player, I have the options to say, yo, if I'm dying all the time, I can adapt to the situation, I can build my character defensively, and I will be able to maybe at some point have a build well established to counter all these defensive and deadly modifiers. But the game is still very, very hard. What happens in Ruthless is you have like very, very, very limited options on what you can do on your character, which just reduces your player power drastically. So even if I die 25 times, I will still die 25 times or even more afterwards because I cannot adapt to the situation. I need to farm, which is fine. I need to find certain gems, I need to find a determination, it's fine. I will most likely find it at some point. But with limitations, with like no vendor recipes or no crafting bench, no like I wonder how you will ever gonna get a 6-link. You're probably gonna get one in the Val side area, because realistically, how many fusings do you need to find? I would say an average of like 1,000 if you have like mediocre luck to link a chest, you know. So even if you find an Impulsor at some point, good luck linking that. It is still possible, don't get me wrong. But I think there is a difference if you have half of the damage or the monster has twice as much health, you know. From the fight duration point of view, it's probably the same, you know. Half the damage versus double the monster HP, that's fine. But I would enjoy Ruthless more if I have all the options to further change my character when it comes to like Awakener Orb crafting. I think like a lot of these like endgame crafting options do simply not exist. That also means that I will never be able to get those two. Even, as I say, we go from a standpoint that I play this game for like a year straight, and I'm starting to go into high tier maps and maybe fight my first pinnacle boss, you know? And if these monsters just don't drop the items they would naturally do, and I will never get an Awakener Orb, for example, to convert influenced item and mix them together to maybe get some decent results to make a well-rounded character in Ruthless mode, then it just like kills my motivation instantly, you know? So I would really enjoy it more if monsters would be ridiculously overpowered and kill me non-stop so I can adapt to the situation, instead of me never being able to reach any crazy amounts of power level, because if I would do so, those things that would make my character insanely crazy good just don't even exist. Okay, what else can I say about my current Ruthless experience? Yeah, nothing too much. It's a Wave of Conviction Ignite. I'm not going to talk too much about the solo self-found aspect. Yo, I found certain melee items and I'm playing Ignite. I should re-roll, but I don't want to like spend too much time in the alpha version. I wanted to go through and see how it feels like and make my own experience, because I was super hyped about the Ruthless. Now after playing it for a bit, and I'm still scratching on barely on the surface. I'm not at mapping. I have no idea how it would be at like high tier maps, but I would think, just from the playtime, I think 10 hours right now, Act 6 or start of Act 6. In 10 hours, I would usually on a league start in Trade League, softcore, blah, blah, blah. Without Ruthless, I would most likely be somewhere in like yellow tier maps, for example, right? It drastically slows it down, everything fine, but I don't think that the current version with a reduction of player power is the way of Ruthless that I would have expected it, as well as anything that I would say I would be interesting of playing. So, but it is totally fine. Ruthless is not made for everybody, and there is still gonna be a certain player base that will enjoy this game mode in specific. But, you know, probably not really for me. But we're gonna see what adaptations are coming. Maybe there is going to be some massive changes. I don't think so, because I think GG decided on which way the first branch basically will go. Do we make monsters stronger, or do we decrease the power level of players? And the GG decided to decrease the power level. I personally would think the monster damage would be better for the overall experience, but this is my point of view. And I do not think that this is going to change at any point, because there might be some changes to like player power, but overall I don't think they're going to change the overall Ruthless experience right there. But as I say again, it doesn't need to be like that. Alright guys, this is basically my little review about like a couple hours into Ruthless and what did I feel about it. And yeah guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.